Please don't kill my son. He's not cursed. Please, please don't kill my child. Don't take my
How it
child
all
away.
started. In the heart of a small African village lived Amina, a kind and hardworking woman. Amina was in her late 20s, considered past the prime age for marriage in her community. Many of her peers had long been married with children, yet Amina remained single. Not for lack of suitors, but because she valued her independence and cherished her quiet life. She lived in a modest mud brick hut with a thatched roof, surrounded by a small vegetable garden. Amina spent her days weaving baskets, farming, and trading at the bustling village markets. The villagers respected her for her honesty and generosity, but some whispered behind her back, questioning why no man had chosen her. Amina, unbothered by the gossip, and found joy in the simple rhythm of her days. One fateful morning, as the first rays of the sun kissed the earth, Amina made her way to the river to fetch water. The birds chirped in the trees, and the river sparkled under the golden light. As she approached the bank, she heard a faint cry. Startled, she stopped and listened carefully. There, lying on the river bank amidst the reeds, was a baby swaddled in tattered clothes. Amina's heart raced as she knelt to pick up the infant. The baby's face was red from crying, but the moment Amina carried him, he calmed. She looked around, calling out, but there was no one in sight. Amina took the baby back to the village, causing a stir among the villagers. They gathered around her hut, speculating about where the baby had come from. Some suggested the child was a blessing, while others whispered of curses and bad omens. Despite the chatter, Amina decided to keep the baby, naming him Kofi. Raising Kofi was no small task, but Amina embraced motherhood wholeheartedly. She wove extra baskets to sell at the market and took up more work on the farms to provide for her son. Kofi grew into a bright and curious boy with a quick smile that melted hearts. Though some villagers were wary of Kofi, most admired Amina's dedication. They often commented on how the boy resembled her, though she would smile knowingly, knowing he wasn't her blood, but her heart's gift. Kofi's life took an unusual turn when he turned 6. One evening, while Amina prepared dinner, Kofi suddenly said, "Mama, be careful, the pot will break." Startled, Amina looked at him, but before she could respond, the clay pot slipped from her hands and shattered on the floor. At first, Amina thought it was a coincidence, but then other incidents followed. Kofi would warn her of visitors before they arrived, or tell her to avoid certain paths, saying they were dangerous. In school, Kofi's gifts became more evident. One day, during recess, he ran to warn a teacher of a snake hidden in the grass near the children's play area. The teacher was skeptical but investigated, only to find a deadly snake around that area. While some villagers were amazed, others grew uneasy. Rumors spread that Kofi could see beyond the natural world, and whispers of witchcraft began to circulate. As Kofi's gifts became harder to ignore, fear gripped the village. The chief priest, a powerful figure in the community, declared that Kofi was cursed and brought misfortune to the village. He convinced the elders that the boy needed to be thrown into the evil forest, a place feared for its dark legends and malevolent spirits. The villagers, torn between fear and sympathy, began to ostracize Amina and Kofi. They stopped buying her baskets and refused to greet her in the market. Some even threw stones at her hut, shouting, "Take your cursed child away!" Amina's heart ached, but she refused to abandon Kofi. She confronted him with stories of bravery and resilience, telling him it was a gift and not a curse. One fateful night, during dark clouds gathered over the village, and a fierce storm broke out, the river overflowed, and flood water swept through the fields and huts. Villagers screamed and ran for safety as the water rose rapidly. Amid the chaos, Kofi ran outside. "Mama, we must go to the hill," he shouted. Amina grabbed his hand, and together they ran through the rain, shouting warnings to the villagers. Many ignored, but a few followed. As the flood waters engulfed the lower village, those who had climbed the hill with Kofi and Amina realized he had saved their lives. When the storm subsided, the chief priest asked the villagers to all come together. The villagers and the chief priest comforted Amina and Kofi. This time, however, their tone was different. The priest, humbled by Kofi's bravery, asked the boy how he knew about the flood. "I see things," Kofi replied simply. The priest, moved by the boy's honesty and proof of his visions, declared that Kofi was a blessing and not a curse. He said Kofi was blessed by the gods. The villagers, ashamed of their actions, apologized to Amina and Kofi. From that day forward, Kofi was celebrated as a hero, and the villagers sought his guidance in times of trouble. Amina's courage and love became a symbol of hope and resilience. She continued to raise Kofi with pride, knowing that their bond had withstood the greatest of trials. Years later, when Kofi grew into a man, he used his gift to bring prosperity to the village, ensuring that no child would ever suffer the way he had. Please like, subscribe, and share for more interesting stories.